Y'all, we live in difficult times. There's war, political unrest, the pandemic, poverty, families being torn, communities ripped by gun violence and people dying every day, police, injustice. It's all bringing so much pain. But y'all, we can look inside our minds and we can understand who we are, become better, and do this thing like we've never done it before. But it all starts with our mental health, and I know we can do it. I believe in you because I believe in me, and I believe in us. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Therapy is Life, where thinking, feeling, and experiencing well-being is what we do.
Pew, 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 pew.
Yeah, that's what we do, y'all. Anyway, today we want to talk about self-deception and lies. But before we get all off into that, what's up, my fellas?
What's going on? What's going
What's
down?
the word?
What's happening?
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Yeah, what's up?
I heard you was still signed to the Revolt Podcast Network.
Yes, man.
Podcast
Network. Yeah, buddy. You know what, fellas, when we started this podcast 2 years ago, I did not see this. I thought we was just doing something to celebrate 10 years of having Everyday People Individual and Family Counseling Center.
Yeah. Exactly.
Now, like 2 years, 76 shows later, we on our way to Atlanta.
That's crazy.
That's a blessing.
Listen,
That's a blessing.
And when you consider the stats, before we get into the show, you consider the stats. 80% of podcasts don't make it to episode 10.
What?
Then after the 80% that do make it to episode 10, of those even beyond that, then another additional 70+% don't make it to episode 20. So realistically speaking, it's like the numbers are extremely high stacked against you when you step into the podcasting space to actually thug it out and get somewhere with it and make something happen of it. So it takes some perseverance, it takes persistence, it definitely takes the attitude, and it definitely takes patience to get in here and that passion to put out what it is that you know that you got inside of yourself for these streets. And so I commend you, good brother. I'm very proud of you. I'm happy to consider you not only a client, but a friend. We out here.
Yeah, man. Thank you. And I appreciate all your wisdom and guidance. And I appreciate you guys being here, making this show more relevant and pertinent to what's going on in our community right now.
Super dope.
And because this is all good, because you know what, when we did this, it was just about helping in the first place. It was just about helping, trying to encourage people, trying to give some awareness, trying to bring down the stigma of mental health, helping people realize it's important for us to deal with our mental health. Because right now in America, we are in a mental health crisis.
Yeah,
we don't.
but we're not doing the trendy though. We're not doing the trendy though. We're not sitting there. We are currently behind your leadership. We are 4 black men sitting down, actually having the real tough discussions about mental health. Not just saying, "Oh yeah, I'm into mental health awareness." Like, no, we really sitting here and having those conversations. You don't have to do this.
Being a solution. You can't
know
a
what I'm
solution.
saying? Like, you don't have to do this.
Yeah.
So the fact that you do is like, bro, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's what's,
We're not saying it because it's trendy, because it's hot right now, because people keep saying the words mental health.
Yeah.
That's not what we here for with it.
Right.
Really want to make a change.
Exactly. Hey, you know what? With that being said, man, I am, as Kendrick Lamar would say, I am humble. I am humble. I'm humbled by this, and we just want to keep trying to help. And today, man, just thinking about it, dog. Excuse me, fellas, dogs. Did I say dogs?
We did just win.
Shout out to the Browns.
Yeah. So I want to talk about lies and self-deception today, man. I mean, I think one of our greatest crises that we're having right now, that we live in a world where lies are everywhere and in everything. And for whatever reason, we don't want to deal with reality. Like, what is up? I mean, it's like we going off into this virtual world, and as a result of this, people are so socially disconnected and so much pain. Depression, suicide is up at like all times high amongst our young people, amongst people overall. And it's just so unfortunate, not just in America, but throughout the world, particularly in, we would say, the countries that we might consider to be first world countries, that depression, anxiety, trauma rates are increasingly going up. And of course, we could look at gun violence. And I was thinking about something that just happened a few weeks ago. You know, what happened down in Georgia. And it was so hurtful to see those individuals die. Well, then a few days later, man, you know, there was an event. Now, before I talk about that event, I want to go back to May 2022, probably around the time I started doing the show. There was a shooting in the city of Buffalo. I don't know if y'all remember, in a grocery store. And why this grocery store and this shooting was important for me is because I have been in that grocery store in Buffalo many times.
Oh, wow.
Visited the city, have family there, and it was common for us to go there on the weekends to be there, right? So when I heard about the shooting, I immediately called family members up in Buffalo trying to see what had happened, was anybody in the store, and learned that there was a family member who had been in there earlier that day. I was like, man, this is getting to be too much, right? And, you know, you hear people talking about shootings and the rhetoric behind it. And you wonder if there's going to be any significant change in our mentality around violence. Move up to just a few weeks ago, I think we've had about 40-something school shootings in United States in this past year. And there was one in Georgia, and there were 4 people killed. And that was so hurtful to hear. 2 students, I believe, and 2 teachers that died. A few days later, we have a debate. And when we have this debate, y'all, you can't tell me that politics don't affect our mental health. Walk with me here. The president of the former president of the United States, and of course the vice president, they was having this debate. And I don't want to make this discussion political, but I want to make a point about the consciousness of America. They had a discussion, and in that discussion, there was dialogue about cats and dogs being eaten by immigrants, Haitian immigrants to be exact, which turns out to be far from the truth. But we didn't focus on the fact that just about every day, even at my kids' schools, there's always this threat or this idea or actual threats being made of shootings happening in our children's schools. But we'd rather focus on somebody making up stories about cats and dogs and our pets being eaten. And I got this thought, and I want to ask the guys starting out, what is it about us that makes us want to believe a lie over the truth? The second question might be, what is the emotional consequences of taking lies and holding on to them more than dealing with things in reality? So what could be the consequence of that when we actually hold on to lies and make those lies true? Y'all got that? Mm-hmm. All right. Who want to start? Y'all ready?
I know. Y'all wanted to go first?
You got the first question?
As an entertainment guy, I feel like everybody who's tapped in with him would agree, especially in this kind of situation. Charlamagne say it all the time. Nobody cares about the truth when the lie is more entertaining. Mm-hmm. And of all the weird things he say, that right there is the one that really do read, and that joint stand out, and it fits, and it applies here. I watch content all the time of people speaking. There's a lot of cats that go around and they go to like different political events. They go to a Trump rally and they'll talk to their supporters and they ask them questions. And it's funny to see them ask particular questions and say, would you support a person who XYZ, and watch them go, no, of course I wouldn't. And they go, well, here's evidence or proof right here of Donald Trump doing exactly that thing. And they're like, well, I'm still voting for him. And it's just like, when you got your mind made up, unfortunately, there are people who will double down in their wrongness in our society and just roll with it to look like they stand for something. And that's kind of what we are forced to have to deal with, because people won't actually take the time out their day to really learn something. There's too much ease of access to everything in the world right now. So people will they see a TikTok video and it becomes truth. It takes the same amount of time it took for you to watch that video as how much time it'll take for you to go fact check it and find out if it's true or not. But they don't. Nobody's bothering to do their due diligence to actually be able to say that they know. They just hear, or they told, or they come across, and then they just adopt whatever it is as fact and then roll with it. And then we'll go and tell their friend and then be like, man, bro, you know. Now their friend is like, well, this my homie. I know he know what he talking about. He don't. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So now that's why, even though it's still faulty to a degree, that's why people post things on social media now, and then you get a pop up underneath that says this was fact checked and it's not true. Because misinformation spreads so easily because people are taking everything, being so gullible to it and just accepting things as fact that it doesn't even matter what the truth is.
Yeah.
And at the point where somebody very well may know that they're lying, if everybody around them believe them and you standing there on the opposite end of it, it don't matter. Now the lie has become the truth because everybody is agreeing with them.
I think that personally, like, people would rather lie because the truth hurts. So you really don't want to look yourself in the mirror and just realize what the truth really is, because it's really painful. So people are going to run with the lies. They're going to try to deceive people. They're going to try to manipulate people for their own personal gain, for whatever that may be. So I feel like, yeah, the lie is way more entertaining. I think people get something out of lying to people. I don't exactly know what that may be, but I just think the truth hurts at the end of the day. And nobody wants to really live in their truth because it's painful. And like we just talk about on this podcast, it attacks your mental health. It can create depression. It can create anxiety. It can create an array of things that could just come over you. Because I feel like people would rather just hide in the shadows and lie to themselves to try to make themselves happy, even if it's for a short period of time.
Yeah.
Because they understand that if I do tell the truth, I can lose somebody. And if I do tell the truth, it'll hurt me. So I'd rather just protect my own feelings and protect my own mental health, even though you're really not, to tell the lie instead of living in the truth.
Facts.
Yeah. I would just add to all of y'all points, mate, because everything y'all said was factual. For me as a conscious hip hop artist, right? I know that a lot of the music that I, support and create is unpopular, for the most part. It's unpopular because, I try to live in the truth, through the music, right? And so, a lot of it sometimes to some people might come off self-righteous, but it's about speaking to, things that we need to heal from, right? And, going against, the propaganda of what has hurt us as a people, and so a lot of what has hurt us as a people is lies, lies that we believed within ourselves, not believing that we are as a people better than, what we allow ourselves to live in, and, not striving to be better. As you said, yeah, the truth can be hurtful. It can, bring out certain aspects of depression and certain aspects of anxiety. But through that, and that's an aspect of therapy, addressing those things can also bring healing. You know, once you look at it in the eye and address what it is, and then try to correct it. It's like an alcoholic. You know, you don't get healed from being an alcoholic until you address that you're an alcoholic.
Right.
You know, you have to be able to say, like, man, this is an issue. You know, I can't keep lying to myself and saying that I'm not having issues with that, you know, until you address it. But then my other point I was going to bring out to what you said, where in that debate, you know, they rather address something as a lie instead of talking about the truth of what is an issue in America with gun violence. Is I think it's still driven by capitalism. You know, what makes money in this country? Guns make money in this country. Lies make money in this country.
Hey, you know what kind of money the gun industry makes? Do you know what kind of money they make?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's somewhere close to $70 billion a year. And check this out. There are more guns on the street than there are people. And we live under the notion the more guns, the safer we are. But we have more guns on the street now than people.
Wow.
That is wild.
Yeah.
Are we
insane.
actually safer just because we have more guns on the street?
Yeah, I don't know that we can say that.
Yeah, I don't
Safer?
think we can say that. Yeah, nah.
because at the end of the day, it's like whose hands are they in? And unfortunately, it's like you got people who ain't supposed to have them things. They got them things.
Yeah.
We know ain't nobody around them safe with them in their hands. Then we got a arguably significant portion of the people who we supposed to be safe that got them in their hands that we know, depending on how you look, you ain't safe with them in their hands. So that's tough.
Yeah, it's
Right,
tough.
exactly.
absolutely.
Exactly. You know, I heard somebody say something, and when I say it, I'm gonna ask y'all who y'all think this is. Y'all might not know. This man said, a big lie repeated over and over again will lead to people embracing the lie as if it's truth.
Exactly.
Who y'all think said that?
Y'all want to take a crack at it?
We'll say Donald Trump.
No,
No.
wasn't Donald Trump.
Nah,
Yeah, they said it.
Yeah. Hitler. Hitler.
Adolf Hitler said it. Good, you knew that, right? Adolf Hitler said that. But that speaks to how lies can influence the masses, because as a result of lies, he was able to subjugate the Jews, and they were blamed for all the problems Germany was having. So, boom, justification of the concentration camps. And you know what? To be real, y'all, I want you to think about how powerful lies are. We might say, if I lived in the 1800s and I had an opportunity to own slaves, that I would have never done it. We might say that if I was in an environment where it was okay to abuse women, that we wouldn't have done it. Or an environment where we was able to do whatever we wanted to. We might say we wouldn't have done that. But how can we really say that? Because understand, the environment we live in and the way we look at information or what's right and wrong changes based on our cultural experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
It changes. So I can, if I live doing what we might consider to be the biblical days, I could have justifiably had a wife, had some slaves on the side, and would have had rights to them simply because of the cultural experience I live in. Now, to me, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's terrible. But to them, they didn't see that as being particularly morally wrong. They didn't see having slaves as being particularly morally wrong. They lived in an environment where that was
conducive.
it was fair.
Yeah. So I guess you wouldn't really know what you would do unless you were put in that situation.
Exactly.
Like a lie. Like, all right, I mean, I've lied before. I think everybody has lied before. But I guess depending on the certain situation that you are in, you would lie, and you got to keep that lie going to try to manipulate or to make the situation better. But I guess what you're saying, like, I guess you really wouldn't know what you would do until you know if you're in that situation. And basically, like what you were saying, what Hitler said, I think that's what people do all the time. I think people do that in entertainment, sports, music, and whatever it really is, because I think at the end of the day, the lie is more appealing to the audience than what the truth is. If I can keep this going, I can keep everybody around me rallying. You know, I remember like, and I'm not going to say he lied. I'm not going to say he lied. But I remember when Kyrie's last year in Boston, that right before that, he was like, if y'all have me back, I'm coming back. And everybody was like, yeah. Everybody went crazy, lost their mind. That summer he left. I'm not saying he lied, but what I'm saying is if he felt like he was going to leave or not, him lying, maybe he lied, allegedly, it got everybody in Boston behind him. Instead of him saying, look, y'all, I ain't gonna lie, we had a good run. I'm gonna play my last year of my contract out and I'm gone this summer. What would the fans have done? So I don't know. I'm not saying he lied.
Exactly.
I'm just saying in that situation, what would you do?
Exactly. What
To
would you
get
do?
everybody around you to rally. I gotta just keep this going for the time being so everybody can just get behind me.
Exactly. What would you do?
I.e. the former president.
I.e. the former president. Hey, to your point, I'm gonna come back to that, but I want y'all to think about this. In order to enslave people, you had to demoralize them. You had to make them inhuman. So you had to lie. So we lied about Native Americans. We lied about Africans. We lie about immigrants. We lie about people or things that we don't support or agree with. So we lie about fat people. We lie about short people. We lie about people that are too tall. We lie about people who don't look like us. They not like us. They not like us.
Seawalk on it.
We lie to make ourselves comfortable with the reality that we want. Think about it. We take books and we say, we're not going to read these books anymore. We're going to abscond these particular books. And if you ever read Bell Hooks' All About Love, one of the most powerful books, but that book is absconded. And even James Baldwin, books have been absconded. They say, you know, these books are banned, and many other books. But these things on a societal level are being done because there's a lie or there's a truth we're trying to avoid on a societal level. Number one, we don't want to embrace the horrors of our history. So we're in societal denial because if we had to deal with the fact that we did all this crazy stuff, it would mean we would have to deal with a lot of hurt. Like they said, we don't want our children to have to feel what feel bad about what happened. Right. We don't want to talk about what happened at this in schools, because now what's going on in schools, it's not them, it's us who's doing the shooting. And I'm being nice by saying us. We're doing the shooting, and we don't want to own that our little boys are going into schools and shooting them up. So we'll avoid talking about that. And so we'll keep creating this a pattern. We won't talk about COVID. We'll just say, oh, it's just going to go away. We're not going to talk about global warming. Oh, we're just going to say it's going to go away because it's nicer in Cleveland right now. So we ain't going to talk about it. But we have societal cancer. It's eating at the very fabric of who we are. We are blaming on people trying to come here for freedom. We are blaming on all kind of stuff, but we really won't focus on what's really happening. And so we've created this disease that's based on all these lies. And actually, if we really be honest about it, you know, it's not something that just started in 2024. We've been telling lies for a long time to try to be where we're at as a society. But society as a whole, if we had to really owned up to what's happened, it would hurt us. But let's take it to another level. What about the lies that we think in regards to how we deceive ourselves around the idea of dying? Do we really embrace and live every day thinking about the fact that one day we gonna die? Do we really do that?
I do.
You do? Elaborate.
I don't know who said it. Maybe one of those things I might be able to Google and be lucky enough to find it. But somebody said that a man lives 2 lives, and it's the one that he lives when he think he'll live forever, and then the one that he lives when he realizes that he don't. And as a kid, you invincible. As a teenager, you low-key invincible. You might hurt yourself, do something to yourself, but you still bounce back, and your youth legs up under you, and you gonna maneuver, and you know what I'm saying? You gonna come, you still gonna be active. You ain't thinking like your mortality is not a thing that's in your mind until you roughly get to about that 30 mark, and then you start to actually think. Stuff starting to not function and operate the way that it always did. And people who was childhood heroes to you starting to die. And you see it, and then you realize, like, I'm not forever. And when that settles in on you, if you have any of your wits about yourself, you start to approach things in life different. I jumped out a 2nd floor window in an apartment complex when I was a teenager because everybody was jumping out the 2nd floor window because we was like, dog, I'm pretty sure I'll make it if I did it. And we all made it when we did it. I would not do that shit today. You feel me?
Wouldn't be wise.
It ain't no way, bro. I wouldn't jump out my 1st floor living room window, okay? Right. I ain't gonna lie, I wouldn't go tuck and roll too fast at ground level right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's just because I understand. I'm at a point where some things you not gonna bounce back from.
Right.
And at some point, you not gonna bounce back at all. And so I have hit that point. You know what I'm saying? That I understand. I just started to make changes to improve my health and, get the most longevity out of my body that I can. I try to keep my mind sharp, so on and so forth. I'm active daily now. You know what I'm saying? Out here, shout out to Extreme Compound. Shout out to my man Dev, Fatfo Fitness. I came down from 240. Now I'm at 201. Strong. Get it real fast. I'm cooking. You feel me? But
still can't beat me in a race, but
hey, listen, you gonna have to see me. These ain't blazers for nothing. But with that being said, I do operate like, you know what I'm saying, with that understanding that, man, like, just for a quick second before I lay it down, I got that appreciation, like, yo, I pulled another day off, and tomorrow I get another one of them opportunities because I don't know when it's gonna happen. Especially, like I said, that it's that childhood heroes. As a music artist, like how many musicians don't make it out of the 50s or out of the 40s?
Exactly.
The 27 Club is a thing for a reason. Like, how many celebrities and famous never died at 27? Like, it's so Nipsey gone at 33, and I'm 36, and I'm like, yo, like, all right, I'm. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that sweat on the brow. Like, bro, like, every day I stopped doing certain things because I felt like I was potentially going to fast forward myself to where I'm not trying to go.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, going to certain areas, I'm not doing it. Certain person concert, I would love to see you in person, but I'm all right because I know who else going to be there.
Yeah.
I'm good. But in my 20s, never. I'm there. What's up? Turn up.
I got you.
So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But what I was gonna say to add to your point, because I think, those 2 lies is like when you tap into that midlife. Some people call it a crisis, but I call it an awakening, right?
Oh, for sure.
Midlife awakening. And, for me, I kind of started thinking about life different once I did like some grief therapy, right? And understanding that in life, that's something that we don't address. That's one thing that people don't talk about is something that's inevitable for everybody to die. And, you know, like for me, it kind of helped shake a lot of fear off me, you know, related to thinking about that death is going to come eventually, because it was so much that I would avoid doing, not necessarily risky things, but things that I felt like were in me to do that I just wouldn't tap into because of fear of what people might think or fear of how I might perform in some aspect. But it's like, you know, even something like this, like, you know, you would have hollered at me about 5-6 years ago, I probably would have been like, nah, I don't really want to get on camera and talk about, you know, like, you know, but why not? Because, because at this stage, you know, these words might be my last opportunity to get this out.
Exactly.
You know? And so I need to embrace every day like it's my last. You know what I'm saying? I pray that I'm here to 100 in good health. But if not, you know, I want to be able to embrace every day, you know, and be able to sleep at night with no regrets, you know what I'm saying, of what I did. Yeah.
So I would say two things. I think people realize like, oh, this can really be my last day more than others. I'm reading a book right now by DeMar DeRozan called Above the Noise. So obviously he grew up in Compton, and he talks about how every day his goal was just to make it back home. Like his shootings every day, he's going to funerals all the time. I'm reading the book and I'm like, man, I did not come up like this. I went outside, like riding my bike, looking at the sky, thinking everything was okay. So I think some people think about it more than others. Me personally, I do wake up every day. I wake up, I thank God that he woke me up. Yeah, I do that. But I think when I'm going throughout my day, it doesn't really cross my mind like, man, this might be the last time I'm on the phone with my friend or my mom, or this might be the last time I drive my car. This might be, you know, the last time that I do certain things. I think that in life, certain situations make you think like that. If you ever been in a car accident, or if you ever been in a situation where, man, my life could really be taken. But for me, I don't think I think about it every single day. It doesn't cross my mind. I definitely try to live my life with making sure like no regrets. But I think personally, if we did think like that, I text Jared, I said, man, I'm gonna be late. And I'm so frustrated. I'm like, man, I'm gonna be late. I'm holding everybody up. But you wouldn't let something as small as that get to you if you really be like, man, this might be your last day.
Right.
Or this might be your last moment. Whole time I get here, I'm not even late. I'm on time. I'm a little early. So I think that a lot of people let little things get to them, and I don't think they would if they realized, hey, this really might be my last day. Or arguments. Think about little arguments that you do with, like, you know, your spouse, or, you know, your parent, or, you know what I mean, your kids. Man, I'm not arguing with you about something like this, because this might be the last interaction we have. And imagine if I let a small argument get in between me and my friend, and that's the last moment we talk. Now that's a level of regret and stuff I don't even want to deal with. But I feel like if people thought like that more, I don't think like that every day, but I do think certain moments make me be like, whoa, this could really be my last.
Yeah. To kind of illustrate some of the things you guys are saying, I want to ask y'all a question. If I gave you $864,000 for 3 days, each day I gave you the $864,000, you would take the $864,000, whatever you don't use it for, whatever you don't use, you'll lose it. But the next day you'll get another $864,000 for 3 days straight. What would you use? I want you to think about this. What would you use the $864,000 for each day?
Politically,
3 days.
3 days. So every day you get a new.
So you feel me?
The politically correct answer would be
wrong. Be wrong with it.
give back to the community. I would be on a trip, call the jet, call my friends, call everybody up. I got a jet, you got a jet, you get a jet. Everybody got their own jet. We flying overseas, we doing this, we spending money, we shopping. That's how I would live initially. You know, but I don't know. That's tough to really think about. But I think my first thought would be like, oh, take my whole family out the country. We do this and go somewhere everybody wants to go and try to do that. That would be my first thought. Would be like, hello, everybody, don't even pack your bags. We're gonna shop when you land. Just get here. That's what I would do.
Yeah, that's almost $1 million. Man.
Yeah, no, for real.
Am I dying after this 3 days?
No, you didn't even think about asking that.
Yeah, no, you got it.
I'm still living after
You
this.
still living.
Yeah.
So for me, first day I'm paying off all debt.
Yeah.
For me and my closest family, I'm paying off all debt.
Wow, yeah.
Second day, I'm gonna make some strong investments. Second day, I'm making some strong investments. Last day, we balling out. Yeah, we. Everything you said.
Yeah, that's day 3 though.
No,
I said day 1 we leave.
Day 3, I'm doing that. Especially if I know I'm getting 3 days in a row. I'm gonna pay off debt, make investments, and then kick it.
No, real life, I think that's I mean, see, and I can't even, I guess technically it would be investments, but like it's just, I don't know, that made me feel weird. Like I feel like investing sound intimidating to a degree. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't pay enough, I don't put my brain to that type of thing enough. I would be like, it's like day 1 though.
Call me.
No, I feel you though, but
Call
I'm saying
me.
like,
I got you.
but day one though, all debt gotta go. You know what I'm saying? Cribs for the necessary folks that need, you know what I'm saying? Like the immediate type. And then also, how far out can I pay all the bills to just be super secure for as long as possible? Because I'm not about to, realistically speaking. See, that's the thing. Do we know it's 3 days?
It's 3 days right now.
No. I'm saying you know it's 3, but you're aware.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So then no, staying in the same house, paying the bills forever off that first type. You know what I'm saying? I ain't about to, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like I'm not about to ball out and go super house crazy because I can't afford it. I can't afford it.
Call me in 20 years, man.
You feel me?
Y'all make my answer look bad,
You know
man. That's
what
what everybody.
No, I'm saying, so like I said, it's a little bit of strategy. That's all. So day 1, pay off all debt and pay out all bills as far as possible. You know what I'm saying? And let that rock like that. That second day, I know I got the third day. So yeah, we can play around a little bit. I might hit a couple of miscellaneous stores, whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? Some pay it forwards. Hey, look, everybody in line, I'm gonna pay for y'all carts. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
To
give back.
From that perspective, some give back. You know what I'm saying? But for sure, day 3, we going crazy. Bro, I'm talking about, I'm about to buy so many props from legit movies. I want the Freddy glove, dog. I want a good guy dog, bro. Like my man,
get a good guy dog,
bro.
I'm sorry, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I would never get a Chucky dog.
No, listen, I'm a horror fan, bro. Like
I am too. Bro.
I'm telling you, so it's like,
Can you imagine it being on the? And then you wake up and then it's not there.
Now that right there could be a problem. You know what I'm saying?
That's how I would think.
But I would prefer a Chucky doll over that one from what's
The
that?
Conjuring?
The Conjuring.
Annabelle? Oh, yeah, no, I don't want the Annabelle. Count me out. Count me out
from all of them.
Annabelle taking you out and don't even move. You know what I'm saying? At least you see Chucky running up on you.
Give you that stare like that look.
But I'm just saying, though, bro, like, my man cave gonna be so crazy, bro. It's gonna be infinity. I'm copping. I need 8K cameras, bro. I'm about to go. The podcast gonna look hyper realistic, dog.
We're gonna be able to reach out and touch people, like, for real.
Like, I'm going crazy.
Touch somebody's hand. 864,000 though. What's
what
that
was
number
that?
about?
Oh yeah, so I want y'all to kind of guess. He gonna tell.
Is there a reason to
There's
that
a
number?
reason why I asked you 864,000 because I want you to think intentionally about a number because there's something you get 864,000 of every day.
Seconds?
You get 864,000 seconds every day.
Okay, that's crazy.
And when you're intentional about how you use those seconds, because you understand you only have so many of them, it's undisclosed to you, then you can move more intentional.
That's good.
But if you think that you got all the time in the world, you don't even embrace the fact that you're going to die, then you probably not going to use your time wisely.
Okay. I knew you was going somewhere.
You're not going to use your time wisely. But when you start thinking, I only got 864,000, how am I going to use it? The next thing I want us to hit on is the idea, and I know we kind of talked about this in the last episode, which really connects to this episode, is the idea of isolation. Now, why do you think that the idea of isolation can be something we want to avoid? And you think about being to ourselves, not being a part of something, not connecting with others. We think about isolation. So one of the things human beings fight for is to be part of something, to be a part of something social, connected with others, in our families, with our friends, in our jobs, all these different areas. We are trying to connect. In fact, I'll go, man, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, right? I would go as far as to say, as you guys think about this, if you're socially isolated and you're not connected, you're not needed in the group. So the idea is to be connected, because when you're connected and you are accepted, then you're not going to be absconded. But when you feel like you're on the outside and you're not accepted, you might as well on some level be dead, because you don't have a purpose to the group.
Right.
So now, with that being said, what did you learn from your family about connecting and being engaged? How did you go about it?